If you eat too many ultra-processed foods, you could be starving your gut microbes, and they'll get hangry. That's one of many things I learned after working on a new audio course about the gut microbiome. You can learn how to keep your gut happy by listening to Try This from the Washington Post. I'm Christina Quinn. I host Try This. Dig in with me on practical advice for life's common challenges. Follow Try This right now wherever you're listening. Seriously, try it.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's KFI AM 640, and you're listening to The Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app.
We've got a three-headed monster here.
Woo! Oh, yeah.
All right, ding dong. Let's go. Me, Conway, and Thompson.
All right, that's cool.
We're going to be on till 6, and then it's Conway and Mo.
Yep. You making any projection? When will we start projecting?
I have 3 projections. You want them?
I'm excited. Let's go.
My own private projections.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All the networks are projecting Trump wins Indiana and Kentucky, and Harris takes Vermont.
And that's a wrap?
That's a wrap on those 3 states.
All right. Have the riots started?
So Trump has 19 electoral votes, Harris 3.
So if it were to stop right now, then Trump would be our president.
No, because he has to have 270.
That's right. And then you go, if neither candidate makes it to 270, which has been talked about as a hatched plan.
Right.
So it's 19-3?
It goes to the House of Representatives.
That is correct. Are we going to go to her right now?
19-3.
All right. I'm told that Laura Ingle for News Nation is reporting from Pittsburgh. She's in Pennsylvania, which is the most important swing state. Laura, how are you?
Hi, guys. How are you? Yes, we are in Pennsylvania, where I have been for the last 5 days, crisscrossing the state myself with my team, talking with voters and going to different rallies. And last night we were at the Paints Arena, where Donald Trump had a huge rally. You probably heard about it, saw some of it. And, yeah, we're off and running. And we've been talking to people at the polling places and getting, of course, the mixed vote of a lot of people I've talked to actually were saying that they voted for Trump today. I actually interviewed a Democrat at one polling station who said that he voted for Trump because he was ready for a change and he was better off 4 years ago, all of that. So it's an exciting night underway. I'm actually coming to you from a hotel in downtown Pittsburgh, where we are at the McCormick for U.S. Senate watch party, and we are expecting to have some somewhat heavy hitters, I think, throughout the night at this U.S. Senate race. This is where I'm kind of the GOP for tonight, and then we've got another reporter with News Nation over with the Dems. So a big night ahead, and polls closing soon, and in many places, and off we go.
Does it seem as tight as the polls indicate? It's hard to tell. I guess it depends where you are, but what's the impression you get wandering around for 5 days?
I would say it is tight, because I spent, what day was it? They're blending together. It was Saturday that we were at the rally in Lancaster County where Michelle Obama spoke, and Alicia Keys was there, and it was, there was a lot of energy. There was a line around the building, and there's the high school there, and it was just absolutely packed with Harris supporters, and you really felt an energy, and I thought, okay, so I'm leaving here, and wow, it really feels like there's so much momentum going for Harris. And then I go to the Trump rally. I went to 2 Trump rallies. I went to the one on Sunday at the airport hangar, and then I went to the one at the arena last night. Same messaging, and a lot of people, even Trump himself said, I'm going off script here. I'm going against what my advisors tell me to do, because I think you guys like that better. And a lot of people that I spoke to said that they do like him off script, and they do like, they brought up going to McDonald's, and he said that's like something I would do. I like that he did that. But really, it's about the economy. It's the economy. It's the economy. That's what people are talking about. Whenever I talk to a Harris supporter or a Trump supporter, that is what they say is the number one issue. We've heard that in reports. We've heard that in the polling, and it really does ring true. That and the border.
So both fan bases are really excited about their candidate.
Oh my gosh. I've never seen anything like it. In fact, before I left for Pennsylvania and I was in New York and I went to my polling place, early voted before I came here to do the work, I was in this huge line, and I asked my poll worker, I said, is it usually like this? Because I usually don't vote early. I like to vote on Election Day. And she said, honestly, we have never seen anything like that. And I've been hearing that over and over and over again. So I'm going to be really interested to hear what the numbers are in terms of turnout. But then we've got this big problem, John. We've got 3 counties in this critical state that right now are having trouble with the ballots. And there's one, Cambria County had trouble with the electronic ballot, with it not being fed in right. They had to call somebody with an IT specialist to come to that county. And we have 2 other counties where there were tabulation problems with their machines. So now we've got extended hours for the tabulations of 3 critical counties in Pennsylvania. And, you're just kind of slapping your face going, oh, God, how long is this going to take? Because some of these tabulations are going to now go into the night. They're not going to say 8 o'clock. They're going to say 10 o'clock. There's court orders that have gone into play to extend some of the hours of these voting locations in these counties because of those problems. So hopefully that's where it ends. Hopefully we don't hear any more of that tonight, but that's how things started here in Pennsylvania.
Laura, what do you hear from President Biden? He's just gone to bed?
I haven't spoken to him directly during my time here in Pennsylvania. He was in his hometown the other night, and he had a smaller event where he spoke to some workers. But he has been active, and his wife Jill has been here in the state as well over the weekend. So they've been out there, just not as loudly and as large as we've seen Harris and Trump.
Well, in the final days, you watch where the campaigns are, and that tells you what they're polling is telling him to do, because Kamala was in, I think, 5 events yesterday, right, in Pennsylvania? She was all over the state all day.
She was all over the state all day, and so was Trump for his part. I mean, he had 3 rallies total yesterday, I think. And when I saw him on Sunday at the airport hangar, that was absolutely huge. I mean, he came out and his voice was hoarse. His energy started off low, but then he got ramped up. And I was standing on the media riser. I'm sure you guys heard about this, where he said, he was talking about that protective glass around him because, of course, the attempted assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania was very close to us. And he was talking about how the protective glass was right in front of him. It was to the side of him, but then there were these gaps. And he's like, what's the deal? There's these gaps in between these large pieces of glass. And he said, if somebody wanted to get me from the front, they'd have to go through the fake news. And I wouldn't mind that so much, indicating that he wouldn't mind if we got shot. So everybody on the press risers kind of stopped what they were doing, looked at each other and said, did he just say that? Didn't feel good with you got snipers all over the place. So
yeah,
it's been a wild few days.
Did the reporters start clearing out of that pen there?
It started, sinking a little lower.
Yeah.
Getting into the Army crawl. No, but I mean, it was disconcerting because, we know that there are people out there that will do what other people say. There's people that don't care, and that is concerning. I was glad to see the snipers up on the roofs around us. But that kind of rhetoric doesn't feel real good when you're on the media riser. I'll just say that.
All right, Laura. Well, thanks. Stay away from this.
I know, right?
From trouble. All right.
No more rallies. We're in the home stretch here, and we'll be paying attention to what you guys have going on there, of course, in California as we continue our reporting on News Nation as well. And I always love being on with you, my home station of KFI.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Of course. Thank you.
We'll see you at the inauguration.
And I love the Ingle angle.
That's not her, I don't think.
No.
Sorry. But it's nice to know that you like it.
Whatever.
All right. We're going to have more coverage here. It's me, Conway, Thompson, till 6 o'clock. And
Conway makes the election coverage fun.
Wait,
though.
that's not her?
Huh?
That's
not Laura Ingram.
It's Laura Ingram, yeah.
One of them's got to change her name then. It's too close.
You bring that up with them.
Yeah, maybe bring it up next time.
All right.
How many times do you think she's heard that, though?
I think constantly.
Yeah.
I think constantly they get confused online.
Yeah.
We got
I watch your show all the time. No, that's not the show I do. Oh.
If you eat too many ultra-processed foods, you could be starving your gut microbes, and they'll get hangry. That's one of many things I learned after working on a new audio course about the gut microbiome. You can learn how to keep your gut happy by listening to Try This from the Washington Post. I'm Christina Quinn. I host Try This. Dig in with me on practical advice for life's common challenges. Follow Try This right now wherever you're listening. Seriously, try it.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. On Demand from KFI AM 640.
Hey, I got a theory I want to run by you. One of these big fat cats at Netflix, I can't remember who it was, made a huge donation to Gascon, 4 years ago?
Yeah, Reed Hastings.
Reed Hastings,
CEO.
okay. Here's my theory. He wants chaos on the streets because more people be home watching Netflix.
Wow.
You know, that might
It worked.
Be. Yeah.
It worked.
Him and his wife, too.
That's right.
They gave millions.
That's right.
Millions of dollars to Gascon.
And we're scared to death to go out anywhere, so we're home watching Netflix. He wins both ways.
That's a good one.
That's right. Thank you.
All right.
And by the way, Bellio, cancel my Netflix interview tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was going to pitch them a couple of ideas. I think that's over.
All right. So the polls have closed, and they've given Trump Indiana and Kentucky, and they've given Kamala Harris Vermont. So it's 19 electoral votes for Trump and 3 electoral votes for Harris. They've also, Georgia is closed.
Yeah, Georgia should be pretty quick, I think, actually, to get some returns.
They count quickly there, yeah. Indiana, Kentucky, South Carolina, Vermont, Virginia, all closed as of 4 o'clock. And then at 4:30, it's North Carolina. So North Carolina and Georgia are 2 of the 7 swing states. They're both good at counting votes quickly. So that can give an indication pretty early.
How come we can't count out quickly here in California? Why do we have to wait until December?
Yeah, they're not going to certify it until the first week of December here. Let me see how Georgia is doing, because I have one of those magic maps here.
I do, too. They have the percentage of vote in, I think, it's less than 5%.
Yeah, 3%.
Yeah.
You're saying 91,000 to 87,000 Donald Trump right now.
What percentage is it,
51 to 48.5.
Yeah, that's about as close as they thought it was going to be. So
yeah, it's going to be like that. So
it's over. Trump wins. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
So how many times can I get away with that tonight before management comes in here? Can you not do that anymore?
So every poll had them both of them deadlocked. Every single one.
Well, Nate Silver ran the computer projection on it. That's to say, ran the race, if you will. Where they feed all the different variables in. They allow for this. They allow for that. They ran it 80,000 times in his office, and it came out exactly even. I mean, Harris won by 1/200ths of a percentage more than Trump did.
Wow. But it was basically like 40,000 to 40,000.
Yeah.
I've never understood why do you have to run it 80,000 times?
No, exactly right.
Couldn't you get the point after 60,000 or 20,000? It's like, all right, we got it.
Well, I mean, that's good for the election, but when you're talking about Dr. Manger measuring her eyes 20,000 times, that's a good number.
Yeah. So, maybe more is more. Right.
You actually worked in the commercial.
You got to work them in.
That's really good.
Big dog.
Let me see. So North Carolina is going to close in about 6 minutes. So the thing I read today is in the last 25 years, if you took the polling of all the major races in the country, president, Senate, governor, the House, the average polling error is 5%.
Is that right?
That's average.
Okay.
That's like a good day for polling error. So if you have 5% off on either one of these two, then they win big.
Yeah, it could be over very early.
Right. So and polling errors sometimes all go in one direction.
Sure. What's interesting about the polling and the projections is you always wonder what people, and Tim's talked about this before, what people actually are involved in polling, that is to say, who answers the phone, who answers a text, but also, is there a part of that group, because they always break us up into groups, the old white guys, the young white guys, the Asians, etc. And is there a group that has been underpolled? Because that could also throw things off dramatically. I mean, there's some, big voting blocks like young people. I don't think young people are polled very well. So what they try to do is build in some bit of polling like that they haven't really done, but they try to weight it somehow to allow for the fact that they haven't really polled a lot of young people. So sort of built into the system, there are a lot of kind of gray areas.
Yeah, well, if you have a bad sample and then you weight it, now you've made that bad sample worse.
Right, unless you're right.
My daughter goes to school in Burbank, and Burbank is a fairly liberal town. It used to be very conservative. Now it's very liberal. But and I don't know whether this is an FU to the parents or what, but she said there's an astronomical amount of kids who are voting for the first time who are voting for Trump in high schools in Burbank.
The guys, especially. And during the Trump years, one of my sons was going through high school, and that was at the height of all the oppression. There was the Me Too movement, and then there was the speech police. And the girls in his high school were scolding the boys for saying offensive things. And he said many of the boys, by the end of their time in high school, had turned for Trump. They had gotten so fed up with hearing about toxic masculinity. The whole run.
Yeah,
sure.
I celebrate toxic masculinity. Like when somebody cuts me off on the freeway, I'm like, good, I'm glad there's still a-holes like you around. Because this country needs a-holes whenever we get into a war or where we have to fight for anything. We need those guys. We need tough guys around.
No,
I celebrate them. Guy, I was at a Taco 1986 the other day, and a big guy stood right in front of me and ordered. I'm like, I respect that. I respect the a-hole in you. We need tough guys like this.
Yeah, they're dying breed.
That's right.
So the problem with the polling is that the Trump voters refuse to play ball. Apparently, in 2016, 2020, the pollsters would call a Trump voter, and he'd say, F you, I'm voting for Trump, and hang up. And they didn't count that because you have to sit there for a half an hour and answer 40 questions.
Oh, I see. I didn't realize that.
They wouldn't do it, so they threw that out. Next call, F you, I'm voting for Trump. They ended up missing a lot of the Trump vote.
I was out in front of my house about a month ago, and a guy walks up and says, hey, can I talk to you about the election? I said, I'm just leaving, but my wife's home. And he goes to knock on the door. I said, hey, what party are you with? He goes, I'm with the Socialist Democrat Party. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't knock on that door. I wouldn't knock on that door. You could get murdered tonight. Don't knock on that door. And he knocked on the door, and he got an earful.
Does the canvassing work? I was canvassed, and it kind of worked.
Did it? Well, yeah. Where they knocked on the door and said...
They knocked on the door. It was a young guy, and he was telling me that he, I don't want to, it was in relation to the school board. And he said, I'm in school now, and blah, 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 and everything. And he was very convincing, and he had me, at that point, look harder at that candidate. And it worked. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I would think, it would be more effective in a race where you don't know the candidate.
Exactly.
Right?
No, I mean,
school board.
Yeah, top of ticket.
I was looking at Los Angeles community college board members. I can't vote for this.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. It's not fair if you don't know anything.
And why are they being voted in? Who cares?
I don't know. I don't know.
Every time I look at Mark Thompson, all I see is a guy who I canceled every one of his votes.
No, I don't think so, though. I think you think that, but.
I did.
He's a little unpredictable. He's a Law and Order guy.
I'm very tough Law and Order.
Yeah, that's the jury's still out on that.
Not on my end. It's not.
I have run into some West Side liberal weenies that I've known. They've been liberal weenies for decades, and they were all going for Hochman.
Yeah, no,
right?
I think they've had enough.
Yeah,
well,
I voted for Gascon.
The water got up to the Lido deck, I think, here in L.A., and they thought, you know what, we got to drain this a little bit.
Enough of this.
Right.
All right. Well, all right. When we come back, North Carolina is going to close. Maybe we'll get some early numbers from there.
If you eat too many ultra-processed foods, you could be starving your gut microbes, and they'll get hangry. That's one of many things I learned after working on a new audio course about the gut microbiome. You can learn how to keep your gut happy by listening to Try This from the Washington Post. I'm Christina Quinn. I host Try This. Dig in with me on practical advice for life's common challenges. Follow Try This right now wherever you're listening. Seriously, try it.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
The latest is they gave West Virginia to Trump.
Yeah, that was and the Senate seat flipped because that had been Joe Manchin.
Who is it now?
Well, Jim Justice, Republican.
Former governor.
Oh, for West Virginia?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the first flip of the night in the Senate. Because the Republicans have a good chance of winning the Senate, which if Kamala wins, will make it difficult for her to do anything.
Yeah, there's only 34 seats that are in the Senate, despite all the seats being up in the House. And the Republicans already have, with these, Jim Justice specifically, they're already at 40 seats. So, and Democrats have 28.
Let me ask you a question, John, and because you're more into politics than I am. If Harris ends up losing, and again, there's no indication that it's going either way yet, but if Harris ends up losing, wouldn't it have been a better idea to keep Biden in and project loyalty to that guy as opposed to flipping on him? You know, because loyalty is a very, very it's a very defining and a top quality you want in a business and a friendship and a relationship and a family.
I think she'll end up doing better than he would have. I mean, I can't prove this, right? You have to have an alternate universe, but he was failing so badly. And I was just looking at focus group results that the New York Times was publishing, and really people were tired of him personally and watching him age like that. So what they should have done is do a mini primary for a month and let...
But why didn't they?
Well, I don't know. It's a book to
Whose fault was that?
know.
Mark, you follow politics.
I mean, the idea was that she was well positioned to take over the Biden machine. Remember, if there had been...
Oh, all that money.
Exactly.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. We got Elix Michaelson from Fox 11.
Wow.
That's a good guess.
The issue is...
Wow.
Yeah.
Alex.
What a crew.
Yeah.
Got all my favorites in one place tonight. This is very exciting.
It's an all-star cast.
Hey, Alex, you're on the air.
Ding dong with you.
Yeah.
So what do you got tonight on Fox 11?
I mean, we'll have
TMZ?
reporters at all the different parties. We're going to be at 14 different locations tonight, tracking all the national and local spots. And it's really interesting to see, you know, these congressional races, especially in Southern California, are probably going to be the difference between a potential Republican House or a Democratic House. As you mentioned, it certainly looks like the U.S. Senate is going to go the Republican way. They basically only have to flip one seat, including 2 seats right now are in very Republican states, which is Montana and Ohio. So you got to think they're going to pick up one of those, and then Republicans get the Senate. So then it comes down to the House, and if Trump wins and Republicans get the Senate, the Democratic House would be the only sort of backstop pushing against the Republicans if that's the way that things go.
Yeah, there are a number of swing seats in California where if they go Republican, it could give them the House again. And
yeah, there are 5 that are considered total toss-ups in California, and all of them have incumbent Republicans members, and all of them are districts that Joe Biden won. So it's not a huge lift for the Democrats to be able to take those seats. They're all expected, all the polls going into it showed all of them statistically tied. And so that's going to be all about turnout, including people that are in line to vote in a lot of these places now. We're at one polling place, our reporter in Buena Park, which is the Michelle Steele, Derek Tran place, and they're 2.5-hour lines right now to vote.
Wow, really?
Because people are really trying to be a part of that district, and that is a lot widely seen as could be the closest district in the whole country.
Hey, Alex, I got a question for you. On Sunday, Kamala Harris was asked about Proposition 36, and she said it's Sunday before the election. I'm not going to tell you how I voted on it. Why wouldn't the Attorney General for the state of California, with 73% backing for Proposition 36, why wouldn't she jump on board and just support that?
I don't know. To me, it would be smart politics to have done that.
Do you think she didn't know what it was?
No, what I think is that she didn't want to have headlines about anything other than what she wanted to have headlines about. And if she would have jumped on that race, it would have created all sorts of other stories about criminal justice, and it just wasn't a topic that she wanted to talk about.
No.
Kamala Harris, unlike Donald Trump, and both, I think, they're good and bad aspects of this, is incredibly cautious and incredibly disciplined in not straying from her talking points. Donald Trump is the opposite. He says whatever comes to mind, and a lot of people like him for that.
Right, but that's the era. But Elix, that's the era we live in, where people are on podcasts and say, and you listen to podcasts because they say whatever they want. And when you get a candidate who doesn't say anything, it's a big turnoff.
It is a turnoff to a lot of people in this country, and ultimately, if she loses, I think her caution and her loyalty to Joe Biden and her inability to separate herself from him and her inability to announce interesting, creative policy solutions will probably be the reason that she loses. That being said, if Trump loses, his inability to be disciplined and him going off on all these rants and potentially turning off suburban housewives in the middle of the country could be the reason that he loses.
Yeah, I would be pissed if I was her. That they half-ass supported her a lot of the way. They didn't give her the full support.
You know, who didn't give her?
Kamala Harris.
No, but who didn't give her?
I don't think that she got enough support from guys who are lined up to take over next year. You know, the Newsoms, or what's his name, the governor of Pennsylvania. These guys that are you know,
they want to be president.
They want to be president next time. They purposely slowballed her so she would not do well, so they could take over in 4 years.
Hey, Elix.
Wow, that was a bad long con if that's what they were doing.
I think they did it. I think they did it. Elix, you and I talked about that. It was your idea, and I think you're right.
No, Elix, I mean, Newsom's got to be rooting for Kamala to lose.
Sure.
Because he's on the bench for 8 years.
They all are. Everybody who's not Kamala Harris is
you
rooting
haven't
for her to
seen
lose.
a bench like the bench that's coming if Kamala loses. For Newsom, I don't think he has an interest in that.
It is hard to imagine that Gavin Newsom has any way to get to the presidency if Kamala Harris wins.
Right.
But if she loses, all of a sudden he gets to be the president of the resistance.
Sure.
And he gets to go back and forth with
That's
Donald
what he
Trump
wanted.
being the
Well, then
biggest
maybe you guys are right.
union,
Maybe that's his
and
plan.
It makes him potentially a president. Now, he, of course, says that he still wants her to win and all the rest of it.
I don't believe that.
But you have not seen him in as big of a way advocating for her as he was for Joe Biden.
No,
Yeah,
Maybe that's because they didn't want him, and they didn't want to be associated with California and remind everybody she's from California. But he definitely has had a much smaller role than
Sure.
Newsom did as a surrogate for Biden.
That's my point. They didn't support her enough.
All right, Alex. Now you start at 5 tonight.
We'll be on from 5 o'clock on. Yeah, but I think I'm back with you guys at 7:30 to talk a little more.
Oh, all right.
There you go.
All right. Good to talk with you. We'll see you a little later.
Conway. Conway is
For
such
the
a
record, that was Conway who
It
moaned.
was
yeah,
not.
Conway
He
moaned for
No.
comedic purposes.
Somebody
is what he
asked if
does.
I wanted a sandwich, and it was egg salad sandwich. I went, oh.
We love you, Alex. You know that.
All right. See you later.
All right, see you.
One of the important swing states whose polls closed at 4 o'clock is Georgia, and I don't know where these votes are coming from, but Trump has gotten a lot of, I guess they're rural votes. He's got 61.5% of the vote, and Harris is at 38, and they've got 14% of the vote in now, and that's one of those things to watch.
But you know where that vote's coming from? From areas of Georgia where people have had it.
Yeah, it's not from metropolitan Atlanta, that I can see, but it is a lot of the rural areas in northern Georgia and southeastern Georgia. But that's piling up a pretty good size.
Well,
lead.
as we said, I mean, John, they count those votes pretty quickly in Georgia, so we're going to get a good sense of that state.
All right.
I hope it's a tie at the end. Wouldn't that be great? What happens in a tie? They go to the House?
By the way, there's 12% of the votes counted so far in Georgia. So
Electoral College, if it's 269, it goes to the House, and the Republicans control the House.
So what are we doing here?
yeah. That's right.
And it could. The way it's
Has it
laid
ever
out,
tied before?
I don't.
I don't think it has.
That'd be a
don't
pretty
think so.
remarkable thing to tie it at 269.
Yeah, but there is a chance. I mean, it would get complicated to go into all the variables, but yeah, there is a chance based on the swing states that are left outstanding.
You're listening to Tim Conway Jr. on demand from KFI AM 640.
North Carolina looks great for Kamala Harris. South Carolina looks great for Donald Trump. How does that work?
North Carolina.
North Carolina looks great for Kamala Harris, and South Carolina looks great for Donald Trump.
Where are you seeing that?
Those two states are next to each other for you geography nuts out there. How is that so different?
Well, I'm looking. Well, it depends where the vote comes from. So I'm looking in North Carolina. A lot of the vote came from Raleigh, which is the big city.
Oh.
So
those are going to be Democrats.
Those are going to be Democrats, and that's she's winning 7-1 in Raleigh, Durham,
and she's kicking ass in Virginia.
And interestingly enough, because of the whole hurricane aspect of things, the county where Asheville is, that right now is 76, just under 77% for Kamala Harris.
Wow. Let's call it.
You want to call that county, or you want to call the whole thing?
The whole thing.
Okay, why not?
Let's I want to see what Georgia's doing, because
Georgia was just up here. It's 66%.
Yeah, 20% of the votes in. And as Brother Conway says, it's 60%.
See, that's supposed to be a 50-50 state, too. So, a lot of this is being driven by where specifically the votes are coming in.
Yeah, 60-40 right now.
Right. City votes will go for Harris. Rural votes will go more for Trump. But he's got 3 states officially from the networks: West Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana. It's 23 electoral votes and 3 Vermont for Kamala Harris. Now,
and it's 40-29 in the majority for Senate. 40 Republican and 29 Democrat.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, West Virginia has flipped, which is predictable. I mean, that was what was predicted.
I didn't predict that
for the GOP.
I didn't see that coming.
Oh, you didn't see it?
No.
Manchin.
I thought
back.
Manchin was great.
Manchin pushed back, though. He's not running.
But I thought he was great.
He was terrific, wasn't he?
Yeah. Right, but if he's not running,
yeah,
you can still vote for him. You can write him in.
After Croziers News, Steve Gregory at 5:05 on the LA County DA's race, which is my favorite race of the election.
Are you going to go to that party? You should. You're responsible for that guy winning if he does.
You are a big part of it.
Man, you could do anything. You could do blow. You can kill people. He's never going to throw you in jail.
Use it early. Use your political currency while you still have it.
You coming in here tomorrow.
You could go home and strangle everybody in your house, and Hochman will be like, "Yeah, I just don't see it."
I just don't see it.
He was provoked.
I forgot.
You could get away with murder, John.
Literally.
Murder.
Well,
you could rob banks tomorrow, as long as it's in LA County.
See, I don't know what crime I want to commit.
Well, we'll talk about it.
I just don't think that way.
Armored cars.
Maybe aggravated assault on a couple of people.
You know what people who drive armored cars hate? When you take a picture of them pulling up to a business.
I'll bet. They don't want. I'm sure they've been cased a million times.
I'm sure they have. But it looks like Hochman. When is that vote coming in? After 8 o'clock?
Yeah, that's a long time. Yeah,
he was way ahead.
You'll be gone. No, but they'll call that in about 30 seconds. Prop 36.
Do you remember when Schwarzenegger was running? They called it 2 minutes after the polls closed.
Yes,
very quickly. I was in Tarzana driving around the post office when they said, "Oh, it's Schwarzenegger." I'm like, "Wait a minute, just closed."
Yeah. Well, that's the magic of the exit polling.
But I don't know if that exists anymore, does it?
Yeah, they do. No, Fox has interviewed 100,000 people today. So if you look on the Fox screen, well, they're not doing it now, but they were running their questions for hours.
They didn't ask who they voted for. They were just talking about their top complaints.
Right. Right. But they'd interviewed those people, and they'll use that to project.
So South Carolina just went for Donald Trump.
Officially?
According to Fox.
They're using Trump's booking photo as his picture there. That's kind of tone deaf, I think. Yeah.
The biased media.
No, but that's not. But to be fair, they're also using Harris in her outfit where she worked at McDonald's.
Oh, that's nice. You're right. Yeah.
So now it's 32-3.
If you were doing we're watching Fox News Channel on we have all the networks up, but if you were doing a cartoon version of an Anchorman, wouldn't he look like Brett Baer? It's incredible. The guy looks like an animatronic guy.
Some of these guys were born. There's no other job he could have.
Exactly.
And his kids look exactly like him.
Even if he wasn't interested, somebody on the street would say, "You look like an Anchorman. Come with me."
Exactly. Take this blazer and sit down.
All right. When we come back, Steve Gregory on the LA County DA's race, Hochman and Gascon, and there'll be more big states closing at 5 o'clock our time. Michael Crozier live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
One, two. No, two. Three.
This election brought to you by Counting. Counting is not as confusing as it sounds.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Could there be a new DA in L.A.?
Criminals will be held accountable again.
I'm Steve Gregory, live at the Nathan Hochman viewing party in Beverly Hills. In the final hours before polls close, Hochman has a final pitch to voters.
Safety is a crossover issue. Whether you're on the left or the right, whether you're black, white, Latino, Asian, people want to be safe again in this community.
Hochman says he's a DA for all people, and if elected, he says on day one, he'll roll back directives put in place by George Gascon.
What they'll be able to see is an elimination of blanket pro-criminal policies.
Hochman says he's expecting more than 500 people to attend this viewing party, which will include campaign volunteers, donors, deputy DAs, and victims of crime. Live in Beverly Hills, I'm Steve Gregory. Now with a look at the election in Orange County, here's KFI's Corbin Carson.
I'm Corbin Carson. Two close congressional races in Orange County could decide which party ends up controlling the House of Representatives. Democrats have spent big money on Derek Tran to beat Republican incumbent Michelle Steele.
I'm running to be the first Vietnamese American representative of this district that includes the largest Vietnamese population outside of Vietnam.
Congresswoman Steele says she's the right choice.
My voters already know my proven record that I'm Southern California's #1 advocate for lower taxes.
We'll also hear tonight from the candidates for the other close race between former Republican Assemblyman Scott Baugh and State Senator Dave Min, who are fighting over the seat vacated by Congresswoman Katie Porter. Live at the Democrat Derek Tran election watch party in Garden Grove.
Conway Show on demand on the iHeartRadio app. Now, you can always hear us live on KFI AM 640, 4 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and anytime on demand on the iHeartRadio app.
If you eat too many ultra-processed foods, you could be starving your gut microbes, and they'll get hangry. That's one of many things I learned after working on a new audio course about the gut microbiome. You can learn how to keep your gut happy by listening to Try This from the Washington Post. I'm Christina Quinn. I host Try This. Dig in with me on practical advice for life's common challenges. Follow Try This right now wherever you're listening. Seriously, try it.